Hello, my name is Harrison Lee. I'm a professional competitive yo-yoer and 3-time Canadian national yo-yo champion. Today I've been challenged to demonstrate yo-yo tricks in 26 levels of increasing complexity. Today we'll be focusing on yo-yo tricks using an unresponsive yo-yo. That means we'll not be going into tricks that use multiple yo-yos or yo-yos that go off the string. This is an endless journey into yo-yoing. Yo-yo tricks continuously evolve and transform. It's very similar to a hip-hop dance where dancers will start with some fundamentals and then build up into their own combinations. This is my interpretation of the challenge. Complexity is defined as additional movements, additional elements that are combined in these tricks, and layers in precision and control required. So there are two main different categories of yo-yoing. There's the responsive yo-yos and unresponsive yo-yos. For the first few levels, we're going to start with a responsive yo-yo. Level 1, downward sleeper. So the downward sleeper is the first trick that everybody learns when they start to yo-yo. It's the simplest trick and it involves throwing the yo-yo down, letting it spin for a bit at the very end or sleep, and then bringing it back up. So to begin this trick, you start with your arm faced out in a muscle formation, and then you extend your arm and then flick your wrist at the very end. The flick of the wrist at the very end is super important because that's what allows it to give the yo-yo the most spin. So it's very similar to, tennis or badminton, where at the very end, when you hit and flick your wrist, that's where you get the most power. If you don't do that, the yo-yo doesn't have enough spin, and then unfortunately, it'll spin out and die at the end, and you're sad. Moving into the next level, we'll be building off of the downward sleeper and adding an additional element that will propel the yo-yo forward. Level 2, walk the dog. Super common trick. It's the first trick that people will ask you to do when they know that you can yo-yo. Walk the dog begins by throwing the yo-yo down in a downward sleeper. You then rest the yo-yo on the floor, forcing it to propel forward, or you walk the dog, and then at the very end, you give it a little tug, and the yo-yo returns to you. When you're trying to walk the dog for the first time, sometimes you might not have enough spin on the yo-yo, so when it hits the floor, the yo-yo will immediately stop spinning because of the additional amount of friction. So a lot of professional yo-yoers will avoid this trick simply because how expensive these yo-yos can cost. And so when somebody asks you to do walk the dog with your $500 titanium yo-yo, yo-yoers cringe for a bit and think, do I really want to damage the weight distribution of my yo-yo and mess it all up? Going into the next level, we're going to be adding a few additional elements to make the tricks a lot more showy. Level 3, around the world. Around the world starts in a forward pass, and then instead of it returning to you, the yo-yo returning to you, you do a full rotation or you let the yo-yo move around the world, and you rotate the yo-yo with your hand, almost like you're swinging it in a spiral motion, and then you return the yo-yo back to your hand. When you're doing around the world, it's important that you follow through with your revolution. If you don't, you have the chance of hitting yourself in the head. We're going to be introducing a mount to the next level, which will increase the complexity and the number of moving parts going on. Level 4, rock the baby. So rock the baby, like the name suggests, involves creating a cradle mount and then rocking the yo-yo back multiple times. Generally, a solid rock the baby involves 3 full swings, and then you drop the yo-yo or you drop the baby out of the mount, and then you bring the yo-yo back up. It's important that you stop between rocks so that you're not moving the yo-yo back and forth too quickly so that you remain in control. In the next level, things get a little bit more complex because we're going to let the yo-yo leave our hand. Level 5, skyrocket. The skyrocket begins in a downward throw. You let the yo-yo sleep at the very end, and then you let the yo-yo string and the slip knot off your hand and throw the yo-yo up in the air. As the yo-yo is midway in the air, it rolls back up, and then as it's falling down, you catch it in your hands. So when you're learning skyrocket for the first time, it's really important that after you let the yo-yo go off your hand and throw it up in the air, you have your eye on the prize ready to catch it. If you don't do that, unfortunately, the yo-yo will fall on the floor and you'll dent your $500 titanium yo-yo. Now that things are getting a little bit more complex, it's time to switch to an unresponsive yo-yo. So the unresponsive yo-yo is going to be harder because you can't bring an unresponsive yo-yo back up. You have to purposefully knot the yo-yo, which we'll be delving into in the next level. Level 6, bind. The bind is how you return an unresponsive yo-yo. So it's a matter of purposefully knotting the yo-yo, which contacts the friction surface on either side, forcing the yo-yo to come back up. This is the first unresponsive yo-yo trick that people learn because you need to learn how to bring the yo-yo back up. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time winding it back up manually. So you begin in a downward sleeper, like our first trick that we learned, but instead of tugging the yo-yo back up, you rest your index finger on the front of the yo-yo string, you wrap around, you hit the yo-yo, and then cross the strings, and then give it a little tug to bring it back up. When you give it a little tug, you'll have a loop of string that will fall into the gap of the yo-yo. This will contact the friction surface, causing the yo-yo to spin back up. So the most important thing to remember is control, and to also have a really, really good throw. Because if you don't throw the yo-yo hard enough, it won't spin for a long enough time at the very end, and you'll not have enough time to wrap the yo-yo string around it to bring it back up. So in unresponsive yo-yoing, there are three main styles of yo-yo tricks. So you have your front style throw, which is where you're throwing the yo-yo down right in front of you. You have your side style throw, which is where you're throwing the yo-yo off to the side. And then finally a horizontal throw, where the yo-yo spins off axis. All the tricks that we've seen in the past 6 levels have used a forward throw. The next will be using a side style throw. Level 7, trapeze. So the trapeze starts in a breakaway throw. Instead of throwing the yo-yo in front of you, you make a muscle formation off to the side, you extend your arm, flick your wrist just the same, and you land on a trapeze. So the yo-yo in this case is the man and the string is the trapeze. So as the yo-yo is coming through that breakaway, you flick the yo-yo onto your index string and it lands in a formation or a mount called the trapeze. As the yo-yo is coming through, it's important that you land the yo-yo on the trapeze. When beginners are learning this trick, the yo-yo will fall off, and so you kill the man on the trapeze. Level 8, brain twister. So the brain twister is a super impressive trick, especially when you're starting to learn how to yo-yo, and involves throwing the yo-yo down in a downward sleeper right in front of you. And very similar to the bind, where you go in front of the yo-yo, this time you'll want to go behind. And so you mount the yo-yo from behind, and you have one longer string segment, one shorter string segment, and you push the yo-yo into you. You force the yo-yo to rotate, and you want to do that 3 times, very similar to Rock the Baby. You let the string segment go, and then bring the yo-yo back up. So the next level, things are going to get a little bit more complex because we're going to be combining 2 tricks that we've seen before, the trapeze and the brain twister. Level 9, skin the gerbil. So skin the gerbil, funny name, begins in a trapeze, and then you double mount the trapeze on, so there's 2 loops around your index finger on your non-throw hand. You unloop the yo-yo, and then you mount the yo-yo on your opposite index finger. You unmount, you do a brain twister-like motion, you dismount from the trapeze, and then you bring the yo-yo back up. For this trick in particular, control is especially important. You want to make sure that you're landing the yo-yo on the string and dismounting it correctly. Sometimes you may fumble and the yo-yo might not land on the string correctly, and so that precision is super important. Because the yo-yo trick is longer as well, it's important that you have a really good spin at the start, otherwise the yo-yo may die or stop spinning midway through. So now we're moving on to the next level, which could be considered our first mini combo. Level 10, Mach 5. So Mach 5 begins in a forward throw, and you start in a split bottom mount, you do a barrel roll, and then isolate the yo-yo in the center of the string, and you rotate your index fingers around the yo-yo so it looks like the yo-yo is stationary while you're moving around it. It's very similar to, contact juggling, where the object is staying in one position and you're manipulating around it. After you do 3 full rotations or 3 Mach 5 revolutions, you dismount and you bring the yo-yo back up by doing a simple bind. This trick requires a lot of control to keep the yo-yo in that single space as you're rotating around it. You don't want to rotate too quickly, but you also don't want to rotate too slowly because you're putting so much pressure on the yo-yo to maintain it in one space. The yo-yo may spin off axis and gyroscope. The key to maintaining that control is by pulling your index fingers away from the yo-yo so that it forces it to stay in that one position. And then when you're doing your rotations, you want to rotate at a constant motion so that the yo-yo doesn't stop spinning midway through. The next trick is going to involve a hop element, which is unlike any other trick that we've seen so far today. Level 11, Eli hop. The Eli hop starts in a breakaway throw. You mount the yo-yo in a trapeze, and then by bringing your hands together really quickly, the yo-yo springs up and launches off to the side. You then land the yo-yo back on the trapeze, and that performs 1 Eli hop. The Eli hop is super impressive because it's so unexpected. The yo-yo is stationary in a trapeze, and then suddenly it springs off to the side and hops out, and then you land it back on the trapeze. So it's very unpredictable, and there's so many different variations of the trick too, where you can do some Eli hops which are much larger in amplitude, some which are much smaller, and you can combine various Eli hops together to create a combo. Level 12, boingy boingy. Like the ones that we've seen before with the Mach 5. The boingy boingy begins in a downward throw, and then you mount the yo-yo in 1.5 mount. You do a single barrel roll, and then you have the yo-yo between your two index fingers, and you pop the yo-yo back and forth between each string segment, causing it to boingy boing back and forth. You want to do that a handful of times. You then dismount the yo-yo and you return it with a bind. When learning a boingy boingy for the first time, it's really easy for the yo-yo to fall off the string mid-boing. You're doing your boingy boing, and then the yo-yo will pop off the string, and then you have to restart. So it's important that you have that control to bounce the yo-yo back and forth between those two strings, and you have a clear eye on where the yo-yo is at every given motion. So the additional complexity that we'll be introducing in the next trick involves a slack element. Level 13, revolutions. Revolutions is a repeater. A repeater that we've seen before was the Mach 5, and very similarly the Eli hop or the Rock the Baby, where you're doing a moment repetitively. But with the revolutions, you're manipulating a slack element. So you begin in a split bottom mount, and when you're in that split bottom mount, you pinch the string with your index finger and your thumb, causing the yo-yo string to slack. You then rotate the yo-yo string inwards and outwards from your hand, causing the yo-yo string to follow the yo-yo as the yo-yo spins through the air. It's almost like waving a fan. After you've repeated it a handful of times, you dismount from the mount and you bring the yo-yo back up. With a revolution, very similar to the Mach 5, it's really important that you maintain your momentum as you're doing each of those revolutions. If you start spinning the yo-yo midway through, the yo-yo slack formation will break, and then you'll have to repeat it again. Level 14, Brent Stole. So the Brent Stole involves a new kind of element called the laceration. So with the laceration, you pop the yo-yo up into the air, and you create a slack movement underneath the yo-yo and create a formation so that when the yo-yo falls back onto the string, it falls into that formation or into that mount. So with the Brent Stole in particular, the yo-yo falls into a triangle-like formation or a triangle-like mount. One of the common mistakes when players learn the Brent Stole for the first time is not slacking the yo-yo underneath the string enough to create a large enough loop to create that triangle formation for the yo-yo to land back onto the string. So the next level is also a repeater, and it involves a slack element, and you rotate around your non-index throw hand. Level 15, Yuki slack. So you begin in a side style throw and start in a trapeze. You then pinch your index finger and your thumb of your non-throw hand, slack the string by rotating it with a clockwise motion, and catch the string segment in a double or nothing. You then dismount from that double or nothing off to the side, hit the yo-yo on the bottom of the string, and slack the yo-yo in the opposite direction. You catch the string segment as it's going around, and then you repeat the motion again. So you dismount, you hop onto the string on a trapeze, and you slack it over into a double or nothing, back and forth, back and forth. After you've done your fair share of Yuki slacks, you dismount and you bring the yo-yo back up. So one difficulty with the Yuki slack is that the trick can fall apart on successive repeats. As you're slacking the yo-yo back and forth, it's really easy for the string and the yo-yo to get tangled up, and resulting in a dead yo-yo and a knot in your hands. Level 16, black hops. Black hops requires a lot of precision and a lot of control. You begin in a triple or nothing mount, which is very similar to the double or nothing, but you rotate the yo-yo around the string one more time so that there's 3 string segments on either index finger. When you're in that triple or nothing, you then bounce the yo-yo off the string consecutively until you reach a trapeze. So you're constantly bouncing the yo-yo back up, landing it on the string, bouncing the yo-yo back up, landing it on the string, and then you land in that trapeze. Once you're at the trapeze, you want to build back up to a triple or nothing. So you hop the yo-yo back up, slash the yo-yo off to the side, it lands in a trapeze and his brother, jump the yo-yo back up, it lands in a double or nothing, and you continue until you're in a triple or nothing. Once you're in that triple or nothing again, you drop all the string segments so it's just resting on your index finger. You dismount and you do a bind to bring the yo-yo back up. So So with black hops, precision and control are your best friend. You really want to make sure that you have an eye on the yo-yo as it's hopping between those strings, and you're landing on each string segment clearly. When you're going down to the trapeze and when you're moving back up, very similarly, you're landing on each string segment clearly. So the next trick, we're going to make the yo-yo look like it's skipping rope. Level 17 follows. The trick begins in a trapeze, like many other tricks, and you dismount. You then slash the yo-yo with a karate chop-like motion. That creates a loop around your throw hand, and then you rotate around the yo-yo multiple times, kind of like skipping rope. After you're done rotating around the yo-yo a handful of times, you land the yo-yo in an iron whip, which is where the yo-yo trick originated from, and then you bring the yo-yo back up through a bind. Like the Yuki Slack, like the Revolution, like the Mach 5, the follows is a repeater. With this trick, momentum is super important. After you start the trick, you have to keep following through, otherwise the yo-yo and the string and the slack will get tangled up. For the next trick, we're going to be incorporating another part of our body, and the yo-yo is going to land behind our back. Level 18, leg wrap trap. So the leg wrap trap begins in a breakaway throw. You do a handful of around the worlds, and then you step over the string with your right leg, and then shortly after with your left leg. And then afterwards, you land in a trapeze behind your back. You quickly dismount and bring the yo-yo back up to your hand. So this yo-yo trick is also commonly known as the ball breaker because the yo-yo string is going between your legs and can break your balls. Lots of mistakes can be made with this trick. The next trick is another laceration, and it involves wrapping the yo-yo string around the yo-yo enough times so you land in a 2.5 mount. Level 19, 2.5 hook. So the 2.5 hook, like the triangle laceration, involves popping the yo-yo up and spinning the yo-yo string around the yo-yo multiple times to land the yo-yo back into a mount when it falls back down. In this case, it's a 2.5 mount, which is like the 1.5 mount, but with 2.5 strings wrapped around the yo-yo instead. So the yo-yo begins in a breakaway throw. You pop the yo-yo up. As the yo-yo is midway through the air, you take your 2 index fingers and you're wrapping around the string multiple times, 2.5 times to be exact. As the yo-yo is falling back into the yo-yo string, you land in that 2.5 mount. So this trick is really challenging because it's quite risky. You either get it or you don't. You have to try multiple times, and it can be quite tiring to pop the yo-yo back up, spin around with your index fingers, and then land back onto the string. So with this trick, because you're rotating around the yo-yo multiple times, it's common to not catch the string when it lands in the 2.5 mount. So up to this point, we've looked at the front style throw and the breakaway throw, but we'll be introducing a new throw in this upcoming trick, the horizontal throw. Level 20, banana turnover and horizontal pinwheel. So the banana turnover and the horizontal pinwheel are 2 sides of the same coin. They're just different based off of the way that you begin with the throw. So in the case of the banana turnover, it's more of a side style throw, but horizontal. And with the horizontal pinwheel, it's like a downward, forward facing throw, but horizontal. So beginning with banana turnover, you begin in a side style throw, but instead horizontal, so kind of like you're throwing a frisbee. And then as the yo-yo is going around, almost like you're about to hit it in a trapeze, you stick out your thumb facing downwards of your non-throw hand, and the yo-yo will wrap around your thumb, causing it to rotate. You do that a couple of times, and that rebalances the plane of the yo-yo so that you can land it in a trapeze. After you're in that trapeze, you can do a variety of different tricks. The banana turnover is a starting point to many horizontal tricks, and then you bring it back up. With the horizontal pinwheel, you're throwing the yo-yo across your body, and as the yo-yo is fully extended at the end of the string, you're doing a series of pinwheels to keep it in the same plane, very similar to the banana turnover. After that, you can transition into a horizontal combo, and then bring the yo-yo up with a bind. Horizontal tricks are a lot more challenging than your typical side style or front style throw because you have to keep the yo-yo spinning, otherwise it'll spin out of plane. Level 21, UFO. The UFO is a horizontal trick, and you begin by doing a banana turnover. As the yo-yo is spinning around your thumb, you let it rest for a second, almost allowing it to spin out and spin out of control. But before it stops spinning, you pop the yo-yo up and you catch the yo-yo, returning it in a bind. It's called the UFO because it looks like a UFO is about to land. The yo-yo is flat, when you're performing the trick flat on the horizontal plane, and the yo-yo string spirals around it because it's about to die. You know you've done this trick correctly because the yo-yo will look like it's hovering midway through the air. So the UFO is all about timing. It's about timing the amount of spin left in the yo-yo before you return it, but you also want to let it spin out for a couple of rotations so that you can get that cool hovering effect. In that process, the yo-yo may spin out of control, the yo-yo may die in between, or you may not catch the yo-yo as you pop it up. We're at a really advanced level now, and for the next trick, we're gonna add a little bit of complexity by involving our neck. Level 22, the Zach Gormley neck trick. It involves starting in a trapeze, dismounting, bringing the yo-yo string above your head and above your neck, wrapping the yo-yo string so it lands in a chopstick with your index finger and your thumb of your throw hand, pulling apart almost like you're doing a revolution, extending the yo-yo above and over your head, crunching down so that the slack follows you, dismounting, and then bringing the yo-yo back up. So this trick involves a lot of the levels that we've seen before, including the trapeze, the revolution, and the slack. So with the Zach Gormley neck trick, at one point, you're not able to see the yo-yo because it's above your head. So you need to make sure that you're extending far enough over so you don't accidentally hit yourself. So the next trick is the last of our non-combo tricks, and it involves spinning the yo-yo on your finger. Level 23, finger spin sidewinder. So the finger spin sidewinder begins in a horizontal pinwheel throw. After you pinwheel a handful of times, you pop the yo-yo up and land the yo-yo on your index finger of your non-throw hand. It'll spin there for a couple moments, and after the yo-yo is about to die, very similar to the UFO, you lacerate into the center of the string, causing the yo-yo to bind. As the yo-yo is binding, you hover your throw hand on top of the yo-yo, causing the yo-yo to do a sidewinder movement, causing the yo-yo to return back up to your hand. It's really important that you keep in mind the timing, very similar to the UFO. When you land it on your finger, the yo-yo will spin out really quickly because of the additional amount of friction. And additionally, after you return the yo-yo back up to your hand, it'll mess up the string tension. So the slack and the string will be all over the place. So it'll be really difficult to do subsequent tricks if you decide to do a finger spin and sidewinder during the middle of a routine. So the next couple of tricks are combinations that I've created myself. Level 24, the Eli hop combo. So in a competition, yo-yoers will often perform an Eli hop combo. So an Eli hop combo involves the trick that we saw before, the Eli hop. It's a matter of doing different variations of that same trick in different directions, in different sizes, in different planes. So my take on the Eli hop combo begins in a reverse Brent stole. I pop the yo-yo off to the side, my right hand side. I then pop it in the opposite direction to the left-hand side of my body. I then do a series of pop elements and land the yo-yo in a reverse hook. I then do reverse behind the elbow, double or nothing. I dismount, very similar to a black hop. I land the yo-yo string inverted in an inverted trapeze, and then I return the yo-yo back to my hand. So this Eli hop combo is something that I've been working on from 2017, and I've been continuously adding new elements and new tricks as I've learned them. Level 25, neck behind the back leg combo. So the neck behind the back leg combo involves 3 body parts, your neck, your leg of course, and then doing tricks behind your back. So you start in a Yuki slack-like movement, and as a result, you go around your neck, wrapping around your neck, and when you unravel so the yo-yo is landing behind your back. When the yo-yo is behind your back, you do a pop-like motion, returning the yo-yo back to a trapeze in front of your body. Invert the yo-yo string, and you go underneath your non-throw hand leg, so it catches underneath. After you catch the yo-yo string underneath your leg, so that the yo-yo is hanging underneath your leg, you do a series of pop movements, and then eventually pop the yo-yo back out, back to a trapeze. You do a series of laceration-like elements, and then land an amount to return the yo-yo back to your hand. So a lot of things can go wrong with this trick, simply because of the number of different body parts involved, the number of different elements, and the number of transitions that you have to make between each of those main components. So behind the back, around the neck, and around the leg. When you're trying to unravel the yo-yo string around the neck so that it lands behind your back, it'll unravel in the wrong direction, causing you to have a yo-yo just wrapped around your body. Ultimately, the possibility for combinations are endless. All those tricks that you've seen, all those levels, can be combined in various different ways to create various combos. In a competition, players will take their own tricks, take their own combos, and create a freestyle routine. Freestyle yo-yoing is arguably the most difficult because it combines various elements, tricks, and combinations into a single routine. Level 26, freestyle. Freestyling is when you just let the yo-yo do its thing. You do the first trick that comes to your mind, and then from that trick, you transition into the next trick, really wherever your hands take you. Freestyling is about making decisions in the moment. It's more of an intuition thing where you're just transitioning between elements, transitioning between mounts, so that you're creating various combos as you go. It's a matter of then taking those tricks, matching those tricks to music, playing around with the pacing, playing around with, body elements, playing around with tricks which are smaller and technical, and really going with the song and the moment. Sometimes those decisions may lead to a knot, sometimes those decisions may lead to a fantastic trick. It's really about messing around, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and that's one of the fun parts about yo-yoing, because there's so many limitless possibilities. Thanks, Wired!